changed to the fact. I don't know why.
Yeah, the audiobook, the audiobook really, especially
That's
now that I'm extremely busy, so I really bank on the audiobook, and I'm
exactly.
trying to, yeah.
That's the only way now. If we're gonna make this book club,
Yeah.
I have to go back.
I think audiobook is better. Just that to have a jotter to jot some points down.
Points down, yeah.
I think because I've jot a lot of things down from the audio from these millionaires' mind.
Yeah.
I've jotted a lot down.
This millionaire man will make a lot of people ashamed.
In fact, it's like a book that you should just keep reading and reading and read and go
I'm
back
telling
to
you.
it and go back to it and go back to it
I'm
until,
telling you.
Read
yeah,
it.
And the funniest thing is that I wanted to stick with it, not even to make million, but what to do after you make your million, because that's another thing.
yeah. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah.
okay, let's wait for the others.
I mean, I don't want us to go over time, so we'll start. Some of them wrote me that they might come in a little bit late. So, well, welcome everyone to our August 30th, our book club review. I'm sure a lot of us have been having a great time this summer. I know that we are still in the midst of a pandemic, especially for us in America, but we know that eventually, through these books, I believe that we can become the best version of ourselves. And it's great to rub minds with other people that read or challenging themselves to read books. Because some of us, when I started this journey, I was not a book reader at all. I think even though as a pastor I had books that I would buy, and I would still read maybe one book a month, and then But then when I met Dr. Sunday Adelaja, I learned that I need to start reading more. And to tell you the truth, as a minister of the gospel, I have seen great improvement in my own life. So and that's what this book club is about. And I know that you too will be the best version of yourself as you read all these books. And we don't just read spiritual books, even though we believe spiritual books are good, but we equally want to read practical books, books that help us to. Sorry, my daughter's making noise here, but books that will help us to shape our mind. Books that because if our minds are not renewed, then our life remain the same. So everything begins in the mind. So and this book really talks about the mind, the millionaire mind. And so for some of us, we are taking the millionaire mentorship course. So this book really hit home on your journey to become that millionaire. And if you're not even on the millionaire mentorship, this will give you a wake-up call that hey, this is my mind. I need to do something with my mind. I need to cultivate my mind. If not, then I can live my life and I can get to heaven and find out that oh, while you're on earth, you could have been a billionaire. And that's my passion. I don't want to go to heaven and find out that oh, there's so much things that you could have accomplished, but you didn't accomplish because of just the way you thought while on earth. So I'm gonna allow everyone to speak and then we'll go into the book.
Okay, this is Kathy. Thank you for having us to spend this great afternoon to rub minds. Like they always say, millionaires have some things in common, and one of the things that cannot be oversaid is they love to read. So this is the first step in our commitment to be millionaires. Welcome, everybody.
Welcome, ma.
Thank you.
Pastor Nero. Thank you for that charge. In fact, I need to be on that on that class, millionaires class. I need to be there. So after this class, please put me through.
No
So when
problem.
everyone,
We can connect you.
Okay.
Yes.
Is it mastermind class?
No, is DSA's mentorship that is doing on the millionaire. The same thing you and I are doing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Eric, bro, Eric. I don't know if you want something else, something you want to
All
say.
right. Yeah. Good day, everyone.
Good
Uh,
evening, sir.
just,
This is bro Eric from Nigeria. This is Kathy and Sister Titi. Yeah,
nice to meet you. Good day. I will be
yes,
saying good evening from Nigeria.
yeah.
And it's nice to be here. And like Pastor Nero has said before, it's not just about people that want to improve their financial status. That anybody who wants to do something meaningful with their life cannot afford not to embark on ending continuous self improvement journey in the course of their life. And that is what we're doing here. Because the more we educate ourselves, the more we are able to go after that which we are meant to do with our life and achieve it. So I welcome all of us and wish us the best in this journey. Thank you.
So let's get into it. What are your first thoughts while reading the Millionaire Mind? What were your first impression? We spoke earlier that some of us had to resort to audiobooks, which I highly recommend that as a reader, that even though we are so used to using the traditional way of reading, um, but I equally recommend that you need to start somehow adopting audiobooks, because audiobooks are actually good because you're having someone read it to you. Um, if you're the type that's always spending maybe 2 hours on the road and 2 hours on the road back, you can finish an audiobook just like that. So that is also a avenue. But I want to see what everyone's. To me, the Millionaire Mind is just, to me to me it's an eye opener. To me it's like, wow. There is so much work that I need to do on myself before I can truly say I'm a millionaire. And that work has to do with my mindset. That work has to do with the way I think. Um, you know, in following DSA, I've learned that there's no limitations in life. The only limitations is the limitation of the mind. So I learned from this book that, man, I have a lot of work to do on my mind. That even if they give me $1 million today, that the possibility of me being a millionaire in the next 5 years or 10 years is slim because I've not done the work on my mind yet. And that's what you will get. That's what you get from this book. That this book will help you to see. And there's so much different courses and so much. He did a research and everything, and he took a poll on the millionaires. What are their secrets? What are their mindsets? What are their habits? What are their he took a look at the school system, just so many things. So those are the brief things I want to share, and I'll hand it over to whoever wants to speak next.
Okay, this is Kathy. Like Pastor Nara said, the book is an eye opener for all of us, and the reason is because I believe that we're coming into the millionaire club with the mindset that we are coming to make millions, but we've never thought about everything that is involved before, during, and after. So if we're just following, hey, we are investing, GSA is helping us, it will be a long run, just like you said. So it starts from the mind. For me, it also collaborated what ESA has been trying to tell us so that we won't think it's just him saying it. As a matter of fact, we're listening to him, but we are just like DSA we know, but just let's get them to the million first. Trust me, I'm sticking to. So now with this one, you say to yourself, okay, hold it. So you want to be a millionaire, you think that's where it ends. The likelihood of failure is there if you don't get your mindset rewired and changed. The likelihood of getting there harder is also there if you don't get your mindset rewired. And above all, the likelihood of getting it and not and not using it right is there. So I really appreciated this book, honestly.
Awesome.
Thank you. My name is Titi Lokpe. Thank you
Titi,
for
my
that.
name is Kathy, by the way.
Okay. Thank you, Miss Cathy and Pastor Nino. Thank you so much. This book has actually shaping my mindset, like the way other people said. But there are some key points that I see here, not only for us to change our mindsets about ourselves, but about others,
Our
about
children.
our
Yeah.
children.
Yeah.
Because when he started, after the research, he goes into his own personality, how he graduated from school. He said he's not that perfect child. He's not that brilliant, like everybody will say, oh, he's 100%. And he said, averagely, millionaires, they are not so the best, and they are not so they are just average. So that means that we can see the Bible is perfect, that we can do all things through Christ that strengthens us. So don't just look down on somebody. Oh, maybe our dress, our clothes. We are beyond that as a leader. So for changing our mindset, and he said, keep another key point is that meeting people, m- try to mingle to people, to read their minds, to read their consent, how they behave, from other ethnic group. He said he doesn't go to the best university like other people who say, like, oh, I'm going to private university. He said no, that in fact they even encourage him. So he said a lot of that. And he said when they are investing, when they are buying their house, it's not that they took it from, in fact, this book actually said that he took it from the low level, and from there they will now build it. That he now started, like when the teacher or his mentor started building, that you can do this, you can he now try to believe more in himself more. So he works on his millionaires. They encourage one another, and they have stable homes. They balance everything. It talks about when you want to know the group of millionaires, this is where they stay. And in fact, it's been proven that those people that are in millionaires, they play golf. You know, he said some things like that. After that, now move to the wife, the kind of wife. If you are a youth, he talks about children too, how to encourage children. Our tongues, the Bible says there is power in our tongues. So the way you talk to your children, the way, and it applies to ourselves as individual too. The way we look ourselves, can I do it? Fear of unknown, peer pressure. That's the angle that me I looked at it. So as a, okay, we are not we are married, right?
Mhm.
So that's the way I looked at it. Word of encouragement. Keep our fears under control. Millionaires, they like on other people, that they little things, they are afraid. Oh, I can't go to that business. This one. They know how to keep their fears under control, how to manage their fears. And they never, when you are working for somebody, you never have your other people's database. But when when you work for yourself, you have customers database, you can relate to people individually, you can know from their own point of view, you can share, you can share discussion, you can share your view with others. It talks about motivated. They motivate instead of fear against. It talks about Benjamin, how he invested, as a bus driver, how he was able to train all his children and pay for their school fees. So that one really caught my attention, really, really caught my attention. And he talks about dealing with positive manner, mindsets, be positive. Even after we've read books, after we've shared opinion, still go back to your closet, pray about it, and step out in positive faith. And with God, all things are possible. It talks about lucky too, that which I am sure that lucky too is part of it. Not to go
That's
and
favor.
gambling, not to gambling, but when you meet somebody that give you the right information you need at the right time, I call it too as a lucky. When you meet helper that is you need at that point in time, I call it too as a lucky. He talked about investment, manage your investment. He talked about CPA advisor, Anthony, and more so after you've come a millionaire, you invest in this and that. How do we manage it? How do we remain at that level?
Mm,
Some people, you read about some people, they are millionaires, and few years down the line you can't hear their name again.
mm.
So how do we really stay there and remain there as a millionaire? Praise God.
Yeah, that's
So that
good. Thank you so much. That's really good. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. That was really good. And that's actually my fear. Once I become a millionaire, am I going to become a millionaire in the next 5, 10, 50 years? Or are you going to be a millionaire and all of a sudden we don't hear of your millions anymore? But that will not be our portion as we continue
Amen.
to, as we understand the importance of adding value to ourselves every single day. Sister Patricia, thank you for being here. Um, I don't know if you want to, we're just giving opening thoughts on the books, or if not, then maybe Bro Eric can go.
While she adjusting herself in the seat, having arrived,
Yeah.
I think I will take my turn now.
Okay.
Yeah, like this is really a great book. Though for me, many of the things here did not come as um, as a surprise because in one way or the other, I've heard about them or I've come in contact with them.
Okay.
So this is more or less of a reminder and trying to reinforce what some of them that I've been aware of. The issue of mindset is very critical when we're
Yeah.
talking about it, and that is where it actually starts.
Mhm.
Because without the mindset, attaining that status is going to be very, very hard. And there is this misconception that the general masses have, or the media would make people believe that being a millionaire is all about the money. No, the
Mm.
money is only a consequence. The real work is who you become. Like
Yes.
Jim Rohn usually says, or did say, that if you set goals so high, not for the sake of achieving the goal, but for
Mm.
the sake of who you become in order to be able to achieve the goal. So
Yes.
that is what we benefit from here. Having the money is it's a byproduct. The real thing is who we become. And then as I was looking at this book, it also let us know that they also let us know that we do not necessarily need high IQ to be millionaire. It takes willingness and being able to make some life changes and imbibe and develop some life skills if we are going to do that. He has actually formed a 900 club, and he said in that club he admits only people whose tax score are 1,000 are below 1,000. And I in this part of the world in Nigeria we don't do that, but I am thinking that tax cost from this explanation, tax cost of 1,000 is actually not very high. So it's just average. So this is to tell us that average people, there is a chance for them to also be successful to become millionaires. And I experienced this firsthand in the course of my work life. I worked with a man that when he was in the university, people, his colleagues used to call him NSA. In Nigeria, NSA stands for No Future Ambition. That is, in a way, they are saying that this is somebody who cannot amount to anything. This is the person that, this is the kind of name that his colleagues used to call him, his schoolmates. But this man, when he graduated, he established companies and he's a multi-millionaire in Naira and achieved so much. He even employed some of his classmates that were working for him. He was also later went into politics. He contested for House of Reps, but he didn't win anyway. So it doesn't necessarily take genius to be successful in life. And in because of looking at this book, I've also understood that there's something a number of parents make mistakes about. Though I think I'm aware of it, so I'm beginning to make some adjustments. We push our children too much concerning academic excellence to the point that they forget that there is life after the classroom. And then what actually is most important is what happens after the classroom. Because if we are not careful, and it's very unfortunate that the school system as we have it does not support it. And many of the teachers, they are not in that category. They are under the paid employment, and then they are just there for to manage somebody else's system and then get paid as a result. So many of them, when they see a child that is not an academic genius, they will just write off the child. And instead of just write off the child silently, they will drown it into the child's head that you are worth nothing. I think it was Isaac Newton, either Isaac Newton that the teacher told his mom that he is not a school material, that he had to come and his mom had to train him in the home. But he went on to go on and achieve great things. And that's why when we look at millionaires that are many people that have achieved millionaire status and even billionaires, a number of them are dropped out of
Yeah.
school because when they discovered that what they needed to learn, the school system wasn't giving them. So in the course of reading this book, I got to understand the author gave some basic factors that are responsible for the success of millionaires. And he pointed, there were a number of them, but the first five, the top five, were integrity,
Mm.
being honest with all people. So when you look at this, it is not about money, it's about becoming a better person. So being honest, knowing there was even, he said there's a research that if you tell one lie, you need 15 more lies to be able to cover it up. And when you are able to come up with those 15 to cover up the one line that you have told, you will need 15 more to cover up the other ones that you have told. So it's going to be an unending evil circle. So the best thing is to just maintain one's integrity. That is why one man said, our private life, when it meets with our public life in the dark, we then recognize each other. That is to say that wherever we are, we should be living the same way, whether we are in the public view or the private view. And then the next one he talks about is discipline. apply self-control. And we have seen even from the time of the Bible age, people that through hard work and through other things, they achieved great success. It's because they lacked discipline. It all came down crumbling. An example is Samson. Samson was not able to discipline himself, and as a result, he paid a heavy price with his life concerning that. So even as we are aspiring to be millionaires, even when we achieve the financial status of a millionaire or a billionaire, if we are not disciplined, it's going to cause a whole lot of problems. I was listening to uh, one interview recently. The guy is actually a billionaire in US dollars. He said what what the way the legal system works is that once you become successful, you become a target, and then the people that have a big pockets mean the people that have greater net worth. For instance, if Casemiro and myself are out maybe in the city doing something, and the Casemiro has a higher net worth than me, even if something happens and it's not Casemiro's fault, they are going to sue him to try to get money out of him. And if you recall, if you've been following this, uh, Kobe Bryant, this basketball star,
Yeah.
he died of a plane crash, his helicopter crash. And right now, I read that somebody has instituted a lawsuit against him. Why? Because they said the pilot was careless while flying the airplane. Why don't you see the pilot? Why are you seeing Kobe? They said they are suing Kobe because it is his airplane. You see, a guy is dead. They are still trying to get money out of him. So discipline is going to be something that is going to be very key. I now get to understand better why the more people become successful, the less they tend to take themselves away from the public. You don't see them just going out in the public like that and trying to limit access to all these things because they're trying to protect themselves. And it also has to do with not just us, but also our children and the people that are linked to us directly. Because if we attain that status and then we're not able to bring up, this also tells me why it is very important to pursue an all-round success and not just focus on material acquisition. Because
Yes.
if you focus on material acquisition only and forget the family, the children, those children, whatever problem they go and create out there, is going to back on us. It's going to cause a whole lot of issues. Then the number three thing you mentioned was social skills, getting along with people. You see this a whole lot, especially we that stay in Nigeria. Because I tell you, maybe a number of you here are not staying in Nigeria, and you may have lost touch of what happens over here. But I tell you that it's very challenging to live in this place and to train because people will push you and push you and push you all over, you know. But we just have to know the battles to fight and the battles to avoid so as to be able to get along. And then this getting along also helps to open up opportunities. Then the other thing he talked about is a supportive spouse, which is one of the basic success factors of millions, a supportive spouse. And then we understand that for anybody to be supportive, the other party also has to present himself worthy of being supported. So, as I was reading this book, it opened my eyes even further to understand, to be able to rate people. If you want to rate who a person is, get to the people that are closest to him. How are they? How well behaved are the children? What do they say about this person? How supportive is the spouse? This is not to say that at all instances, one, we have a spouse that agree with you on everything you want to do. But at least if the person is willing to take it with you, even if there are reasons to have different opinions, but those should not be on the basis of one's integrity. Then the number five thing is hard work, being willing to work harder than most people are willing to do. And hard work does not only involve physical work, it involves spiritual, it involves mental before it has to do with physical work. So being willing to work hard is one of the basic qualities of millionaires. Let me stop at this point. I'm already taking so much time.
Wow, thank you so much, Brian, for that. That was really good. Um, what I want to talk about also is the practical stories that he used, or maybe illustrations. I think Brother Eric touched on it on how me, I'm just new to America, so we in Canada they don't use SAT, but over here they use SATs. So you know how if, I guess depending on your SAT number, it allows you to go to certain colleges. So he said he did his studies and he noticed that it's not the SAT score that determines if you become a millionaire. That is actually he has actually found that it's the opposite. That it's usually those that are average or those that are not they didn't score they score below I think he called it a 900 club. That those are the people that he has in his study he has noticed that those are the ones that are more or less become millionaires. And he equally talked about how the school system that going to a good college will not determine if you'll be a millionaire, or in fact that he has noticed that majority of the millionaires today, most of them are dropouts. So and then he shared one story that really piqued my interest. And the story was about I guess a young man. Uh, he's struggling. He was just average at school. Wasn't he thought that oh I'm not like the educated ones. I don't have my I'm not smart. I'm not quick on my feet. I don't have all those things. So he ended up situation happened and he ended up having a dropout. He already had a family at a young age. So then he was not sure what he was going to do. Now he's a dropout. He thought that, well, what am I going to be able to do in my life with me being a dropout? So as he was a dropout, he ended up going on a sales job. Doing the sales job, he was very good at it. In fact, he was so good at it that he was like the best. But he always had that thing in the back of a mind that he always had the thing in the back of mind that he's not educated. That was the whole thing in the back of mind. But he just rose up within the rank of this company in no time. He was making so much money. He was so prosperous. He was making so much money, traveling first class, doing all manners of things. And then now all of a sudden, he walked into a thing. He walked into sorry about that. But he walked into oh my God, so he walked into a place and he now noticed no, he walked into a company and then he now found out that his company was sold. So now his company is sold and then now he has lost his job. And the back of his mind was this, I'm not educated. What am I going to do next? I don't have this. I don't have that. I don't have this. And that's how one of his clients now encouraged him and told him that, hey, I think you should go and start your own sales consultant firm or something like that. So then he started it, he built it up from scratch, and then he eventually became a millionaire. For me, this story drives home that a lot of us, we already have those giftings inside of us. That we automatically think that it's going to be my degree or it's going to be my degree, it's going to be my master's or it's going to be my PhD that will do it. But to me, this man was just so good at sales. He was so good at sales. And this for me just let us know that we have these natural giftings in us. What are we doing with it? Are we using those gifts? This man was very good at sales, and that's what allowed him to be in a company, even though he was in a company for such time, made great money, and he lost it all. But once he was able to discover that gift, he was now able to start his own, something that he owns. Because it doesn't matter what job we are doing, it can be so great today. You can be making so much money, and all of a sudden a pandemic comes, or all of a sudden maybe the thing is no longer, or the business is no longer needed, and then you find yourself without a job. So for me, it really ministered to me is that what are you doing with the gift that God has given you? Are you using this gift? Because a lot of us are looking for prosperity. We're praying that pastor will pray for you that you become prosperous, while we have those giftings already in us. That all we simply need to do is not just go and get a job that will make us money, but go and walk along the line of the areas that God has gifted you, and that can bring you to a place of great wealth. So that's what I was able to get from that part. I don't know who else want to say something.
Okay, for me, like what you have said, God has blessed us with and all the gifts that we can imagine. God has deposited in us. It's just for us to discover where our strength lies and to run with it. And another thing that I that this book taught me, it talks me about integrity. It talks about integrity, which is really, really paramount. And we can see that integrity actually puts some people down. Great people that you will hear their name and you will be like, but because of lack of integrity. It talks about uh, somebody that they gave 10 million bribe to, 10 million bribe, and and he turned it down. And he said they should not deal with that company again. When they know that you have integrity, trust God. It good things will gravitate towards you. Once the integrity is there, once even if you have your business and they know that, oh, he has integrity, he will do it the way accordingly the specification that you give this person, he will do it. People will even be referring people to us, and as we do so, God will help us.
Yes. The good thing there, just like when you're reading the Bible, God will be revealing different aspects to different people, especially also on your areas that you have to pay attention for you and for others, for the building up of others. So I picked up a lot from the last two speakers. But Sister Tope, right? Tope? Tola? Hello?
Sister
Can you hear me?
Titi Lockman.
Yeah, Titi,
Tilo
you can,
pe, so Tope.
Titi, you can talk, you can say Titi.
Uh-huh. The last point you made about integrity, it's really very important because now in our mind we're saying, okay, we're going to be we're not going to have integrity issue because we are the righteousness of God. We fear God and we're going to. But believe you me, the attraction of money brings lower down your God for integrity. So, but being reminded of it will also make you to put it in one of those things like, okay, if this person did it and they fell, and above all, if I trust in God and keep it clean, I'll get more. So it will make you when that time comes, when the money comes, you will not at any time lose focus because people start doing business and they start growing and just you know uh, 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 hiking up things, lying about things, not knowing at that point that it doesn't matter now, this is business. So I really appreciated that because not that we have find ourselves in that, but it's something that we have to keep at the back of our mind. Because at the end of the day, the Bible tells us it's God that blesses us. He's the one that gives the power to make wealth. So when we, especially the believers, especially the strong ones, know all these things, yes, we think we can do it. Like these other millionaires, then there's going to be issues along the line. So I appreciated that. And the main fact, what I want to also add about not being smart, or rather, the best to start something, I think is that is something we have to be aware, especially with our children. I don't know how many of us in the group have children, young adults going up and everything. Let me tell you something. I can use my niece as an example. My niece dropped out of school. To me, it was like the worst thing that can ever happen to the whole world. I try to encourage her, just like her parents. So finally, she came to stay with me. During the time she stayed with me, I found out that this girl is so much bent, focused on starting businesses because she's so highly, intelligent, but she couldn't make it in school. So after that, I said to myself, these are the biggest people. These are those people that will drop out. But even now, the business she wanted to start, she went home. Her parents convinced her again to register for school. So we should talk, we should take that in mind, even as we talk to others about it. Let your children, just put them in God's hand. Let them be, because we Africans are so much into just like we are so much into the show of this. See me, I'm a millionaire now. We also like that with education. So that's what I want to say with that.
Thank you. Thank you, Miss Catherine. About I thank God. And another thing that I want to say is that about education. Back in Africa, especially in Nigeria, they take it so, especially your certificates, they take it so like, and that is what this book speak about. That see, it is like when they don't go to school, you will like, you can't make it in life. You are so like, you must make it, you must read. If you don't go to school, but thank God that in another world like this, America, actually opened my eyes to see some potentials, that everything is not about reading. Anything is not about going to school. I mean, everything is not about going to school, that if you don't go to school, you can't make it. No, I used to pray the prayer that God, don't let me mislead my children, because some they are to go and play football, to go into sports. And we are like, no, you must become that doctor, you must become that engineer. I have I cannot say she's a perfect person to speak about, but I'm sorry to use her name here. It is about Funke Akindele. I don't know, she's an actress. Actually, she went to school, but I can see that she's good at that drama that she used to do than being a lawyer. She's a lawyer by profession. But what actually bring her out, what actually make people hear about her name today, and to now help others. I know she used to help others. What now make her to be able to help others, to reach out to those people that they don't need, is that play that she used to do. But then before she started, you will hear her parents say, I will disown you. You will hear her father say, oh no, you are not my daughter again, because you didn't go to school, because you chose one profession. So we should change our mentality about, if the guy told you he's not going to school, just mentor the guy or the lady well. See, thank God that here they didn't deal with age. Let her go and start that business. From that business, when she discover that, oh yes, now I need to go to school, she will go back and she will be successful in
Exactly.
everything she's doing. That's my contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Okay.
I we all come from a nation. Oh, you want to, brother? I'll let you speak if you want to say something.
Um, yeah, just to add to that,
Yeah.
the issue of guidance is very important because some of us were not able to get that proper guidance. So we didn't know what it means to pursue to go after your dream, to go after your dream. We were just pushed into somebody like me. I passed out of secondary school with very good grades. So, in Nigeria, when you have such kind of results, you have to go to medicine, pharmacy, engineering. That's our pharmacy engineering. So, it's very important that we guide our children aright. And I think another mistake we've been making over here is that we underrate the children too much. We underrate people. We feel that people are too young to do things. And
Mhm.
we shouldn't do that because it's been said and research has proven that people that have really been outstanding in their profession, they started at a young age and they built it over the years. I heard of a child, I think he was about 9 years or thereabout, that he owns a company, a cookies company, and employs his mom to be working for him. Started at a young age. And then we are here making the mistake of thinking people are too young, too small to start off in area. And another thing I want to bring up here is that yes, we shouldn't be too pushy about education, but I think we need to strike a balance there because education is kind of like a foundation. There is basic education that is important for a child to have. For instance, to have a secondary school or what they call high school, I think it's important. In my opinion, I think it's very important that every child should be encouraged to go to at least that level. Then, even if they want to do something else, they can go and do it. That does not mean that they have to suspend every other thing about their dream or about their youth until they are done with high school. They can be doing that and still be doing their dream. My daughter, for instance, is five, getting to six. She told her mom one day that mommy, I want to learn fashion design. So we enrolled her. She's already learning. In fact, let me share one of the things that she did. She already started doing stuff in that area. She will come and be talking and telling us all manner of things, you know. So I think it's important that we let them do this thing. This is a drug that she sold for her teddy bear. You can see the drug, you know. And she also has interest in music. So we are also trying to see how we can let her do all those things. She's just 5 years, but I think she's not too young to start in this journey. But the point I'm making is it is very important that we strike a balance so that we don't end up limiting these children's opportunities because if we have basic education, we'll be able to build on it, to be able to, networking with others is important. And in today's stage, you need to be able to do research. And if you don't have this basic, then sometimes you may have challenges. And another thing is that even though success does not depend wholly on certificate, but in the world that we live in, a number of times, in many instances, the certificate is just the key that opens the door. In some other cases, if you don't have the basic qualification, the door will not even be open unto you. But what you have to understand is that it takes more than just the certificate. Even though the certificate opens the door, but when you get in there, what do you have in you? What can you offer? What can you do? These are the things that we should also.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much for the prop that you showed us. And I believe what you're saying is very correct as it pertains to education. Education is important, but I think that what society has and some of our parents too, they take it to the extreme end as a means of you making it in life. I believe that if we can, of course, send our children to school, get Just like you said, the minimum, the minimum education should be high school. But then at the same time, we should also encourage. Really something that I'm looking forward to do with my daughters is that I encourage them to also read, learn about, learn about as much things as you can learn. Because they're saying that education will get you a job, but self education will make you a fortune. So I believe that if we can also mix into our education, self education, like so for me, I remember when I finished college, I never knew that I need to continue developing myself. Nobody ever told me that. I just okay, I just got a job and then But if you can add self education where you are always improving yourself, self improvement, you're always becoming the best version of yourself. I think that's the way that we can be, the best that we can be. And from reading this book, I just that we can't limit ourselves, especially when it comes to finances. That there's we need to aim high. We need to go for it. We need to live life to the fullest. We need to get rid of all our fears, and just go and give it our all. And I believe that once we do that, of course we are working on our minds, we're shaping our minds, we surround ourselves with the right people. We understand the laws of money and we apply them, and then also we're raising our children, and maybe the education that you didn't get while you were growing up, you are now able to pass it on to your children. And then I believe that financially things, and just like I think Brother Eric said it, that we shouldn't just always think about the money part. When people that are taking the millionaire mentorship, I notice that they are always focusing on the money part, and we shouldn't do that. You should focus on the person that you'll become, because the money will just be the result of who you are. If you have that mind, if you have that right mindset, then eventually the money will come, opportunities will come, and you know what to do when those opportunities comes. And those are all results of a mind, your mind shift. And then Brian Eric also said certain things, but so if there's anything as as a black race that I feel that we don't do a lot of is we don't do hard work on our minds. We don't work hard on our minds. We and that's the result of us living from paycheck to paycheck, or living our life at the mercy of a job or a boss, especially for those of us that are in the Western world. But if we can really, even though you're in the midst of your job, you come home, you're working on yourself, you're reading, you are learning new things. And I believe that opportunities come our way and we take advantage of them, then we can be the best that we can be. So that's as it pertains to anybody. I don't know if anyone else wants to say anything as it pertains to this book. We're probably going to read this book again, and I'm trying to see what we can do differently, because I was talking to someone, and the person told me that why don't you focus on one book and do like really exhaust the book before you move on to the next book. So I'm trying to see how we can do that so that it's not just a race to go and read 50 books. I mean that's good, but I think also it's good to make sure that you get all those lessons in that book, and then it becomes flesh on the inside of you, and then you can begin to walk it out in your own life. So
Uh,
that's what I'm trying to see how we're going to do
right.
that. We'll see.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Um, Pastor Nora, on
yeah,
that note, I will agree with you, but I will say not now.
yeah.
Why is
I agree.
because
Yeah,
if you do it now, reading one book for 2 or 3 times, like me, I won't even come the next time because for me, I've already gotten what I want to get out of this book.
yeah.
So that's one. Two,
Okay.
we can eventually go back, take one day and hit all the books again. You understand?
Oh, okay.
But yeah, but let's not go back and repeat. Those of us that are here today and have read this book, I it won't our segments coming in next one will not be as the people that missed it. So
Yeah.
you will keep pushing it. One day you just said, okay, today is the day to review all we have learned. How are we practicalizing it? How have we put it in our? Then people can now talk about how they have used it, how their mind have changed. You understand?
Oh,
So
okay.
that's what I think. Yes.
Okay.
And just not to go back, but I just want to remind Brother Eric, when we say not going to school, it just occurred to me that he's in Nigeria, and Nigeria, um, college, we mean university. Of course, if you don't go to high school, where will you even begin? So your university is our college. That's what we mean. We mean at the college level or graduate level.
I know about that.
Right? Exactly, but that's so we're saying the same thing you said, because
Yeah.
the basic education is basic. We're just talking about finishing university or yeah. So that's it.
So, for me, what Pastor Nero said, that reading and doing justice to each books actually is very, very important to me, because of that book that we read, that we are reading now. It makes us to actually do justice to it, because we take it page by page. After reading this topic, somebody will come, even subtopic, somebody will come and do justice to it and throw more light. That we did something like preview before going to go and is like we are preaching. But before we go to preach, we'll do preview, which we call it master class in my church, which everybody would throw more light on the particular topic. Like chapter one, maybe chapter one has like two topic or three topics. Each every one of us will pick each topic, and we will do justice for it. I know we might not have that time here,
Yeah.
but that book, we've been reading it for like we've been reading that book for 1 year, and it's getting sweeter every day, which we can carry everybody along, both learned children and unlearned too. We can carry all of them along and teach them. We will do preview is like 45 minutes, and we will use 1 hour to teach, which question and answer, and everybody will still contribute and share their opinion, their thoughts about what we've discussed, and how it applies to individual lives, our children, our job as a CEO, as a business owner, as a starter that want to start afresh. You know, it's important that it's not just for us to read that, oh, I've read this book, but to get some key content from each book and to apply it to our lives. And how can we apply it to our life and to teach others too? If you don't know, you won't be able to teach others. Is something that you meditate on. It's not just, oh, I have preview today, let me just go and dash it out what I've read. How are we going to be a mentor or a leader with this book that we have read to impart on other people that they can't read? How are we going to dash it out to them? And they too, they will have they will have the sense of belonging, the oh, they can lean on our shoulders. Yet we encourage them to read as well. But
Mm.
how can we teach them to read? At times when you talk, it will influence other people that, oh, that book, I'll go and read it.
Yeah.
And as we are growing up as a leader, as a believer, as a millionaire, we want to carry as much as people along,
Yeah.
as youths are coming, children are coming, church member, those you mentors too, to carry them along into it. I think that is what Pastor Nino was trying to say that to do more justice about it. I know in chapter 1, it talks about, so just to
Oh,
do justice about the
Sister
book.
Summary.
Hello, Miss Catherine.
Yeah, I should summarize it so that we can go. I understand your point. However, that the decision on majority is okay. Yeah, the only thing I really don't know the markup of the people in the group, but trust me, I didn't come to the millionaire group to be taught, to be all this thing you're saying. Church is different. I came here to get as much, but I'm not going to. However, yes, majority of Pastor Nora said is okay. That's fine.
Yeah.
But
I
it's a
get
different
what
markup.
I get what both of you are saying, and this is just I'll just me share my thoughts. So I do get what Stakata is saying, because I'm the type of person that like to, okay, I read this book, I go to the next book, I like to go to the next book. But also I've noticed that a lot of these books are very rich, which I do have plan of going back to the books. So, but also I see what Sister Titi is saying, and it does kind of pique my interest on teaching, on doing subtopics. But we will just leave it there for now. It's just a suggestion that I just came up. I'm not saying that's what we're gonna do, but it's just see where God is leading us. That's the most important part. And I know God will lead us to where we need to go. In Jesus' name. Okay,
Amen.
everyone. It's 5 o'clock. I believe I just said the final word. So the next book is Sister Catherine's book. So
Hey.
Are you serious? Wow! When is it?
sorry?
Wow! When is it?
In 2 weeks, we're gonna review your book.
Oh my God!
So
Yeah, let me know because I might be in Nigeria in 2 weeks.
so you're gonna have to call me. You have to be online for that one at least.
I have to now. I have to so I can answer. I have to.
We,
You know, my mother
we are
died
going to ask you
during the COVID.
questions about the books.
Eh?
We are going to ask you a lot of questions.
Yeah,
Which book?
Yeah, so
yeah.
you have to be here.
Well,
So
if my brother is able to, my brother Eric is able to dial in from Nigeria, I'm sure I'll try and dial in.
okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You can always reach out to him to
Which
see
you
how.
are going to do? What are you going to do? Are you from Benue?
Huh? No, I'm from
Mr.
Enugu.
Latika from Benue.
I'm from Enugu. Yes,
I see
I lost
Agada, so
my
I'm
mother
thinking
during
it's
the
Agada of
COVID.
Idoma.
Huh? No, we're Enugu. Not Idoma, not Benue.